There is a coffee can on the kitchen counter of every Amish household I have visited in Holmes County. Not a decorative tin, a working container. The grounds from the morning's coffee go into it every day. By the end of the week, it is full. On Friday morning, it goes to the garden. I watched the farmer's wife carry it out on a wet July morning and spread the contents in a ring around every lettuce plant, every strawberry plant, and every hosta in the front border. She worked methodically and without hurry. The whole garden took 12 minutes. She set the empty can back on the counter for the following week's accumulation. I asked what problem she was managing. She said slugs had been taking the lettuce and she was stopping them. I asked if it worked. She said, "Come back next Friday." I came back next Friday. The lettuce was intact. Every plant she had treated was intact. The untreated plants in the neighbor's adjacent bed showed the irregular chewing damage that slugs produce. Zero cost. 12 minutes, 1 week, done. Here is what the garden center sells for the same outcome. Corey's slug and snail killer, iron phosphate bait pellets, sells for $13.99 per pound and covers approximately 2,000 square feet. Recommended reapplication every 2 weeks or after rain. Annual cost for a standard backyard garden, $40 to $60. Ortho Bug Get a Slug and Snail Killer, metaldehyde-based, more effective but toxic to pets and wildlife, sells for $11.99 per pound. Slug Gone Copper Tape Barrier, $12 per 10-foot roll. For a complete garden perimeter, $60 to $90 in copper tape. Commercial slug control market in the United States, approximately $180 million per year. The used coffee grounds from the morning's coffee cost nothing because they are a byproduct of a beverage the household was already making. They address the same pest through a mechanism that the commercial products cannot replicate because the mechanism is biochemical rather than physical or toxicological. Caffeine is toxic to slugs and snails at concentrations significantly lower than those present in used coffee grounds. The mechanism was documented in a 2002 study published in the journal Nature by researchers at the USDA Agricultural Research Service in Hawaii. The study found that caffeine solutions at concentrations as low as 0.1% caused avoidance behavior in terrestrial gastropods. At concentrations of 1 to 2%, it caused mortality within 96 hours of exposure. Used coffee grounds contain approximately 0.8% to 1.0% residual caffeine. The grounds that the Amish farmer's wife spread around her lettuce plants created a caffeine exposure zone that slugs encountered through direct contact. Slugs navigate and forage primarily through chemical sensing. A substrate with elevated caffeine triggers neurological disruption, including arrhythmia and muscle cramping. The avoidance response is more important than mortality. Slugs that contact the caffeine zone do not necessarily die immediately, they retreat. The barrier effect persists for approximately 10 to 14 days in wet conditions and up to 3 weeks in dry conditions. Reapplication every 2 weeks maintains a continuous barrier. This uses grounds from normal brewing that would otherwise be in the trash. Used coffee grounds are approximately 2% nitrogen, 0.3% phosphorus, and 0.3% potassium, making them a superior soil fertilizer. The nitrogen is in organic form and releases slowly over 30 to 60 days as the grounds break down through microbial decomposition. The claim that coffee grounds acidify soil is a myth. Used grounds have a pH of approximately 6.5 to 6.8, which is nearly neutral. University research confirms that used coffee grounds do not produce measurable pH change. They are safe on virtually all garden plants. The application method determines whether coffee grounds function as intended or create a problem. The most common mistake is applying grounds in a thick, continuous layer rather than a thin, broken layer. A thick layer of coffee grounds forms a dense mat as the grounds compact together. The mat becomes water repellent as the oils coat the surface. Rain and irrigation water runs off rather than penetrating the soil below. Plants above a thick mat can develop drought stress because water is not reaching their roots. Apply grounds in a thin, discontinuous layer. Apply grounds approximately 1/4 inch deep. This allows water penetration while maintaining the caffeine barrier. The ring application is more effective than the broadcast application for slug control. Apply a ring of grounds around each plant. The ring creates a defined perimeter that slugs must cross. Broadcast application covers more area but dilutes the grounds too thinly. For soil nutrition, broadcast application feeds a larger area. The Amish protocol uses rings for high-value plants and broadcast between rows. Reapply every 2 weeks during slug season as caffeine leaches out. Also reapply after heavy rain events. In dry conditions, a single application may last up to 3 weeks. Adjust based on observation of slug damage. The earthworm response is a soil biology benefit that multiplies the protocol's value beyond simple nitrogen input. Studies document a significant increase in earthworm population density in soil plots, receiving regular coffee ground amendments. Earthworms are attracted to coffee grounds as food and the fungal populations that colonize them. Increased earthworm density improves soil structure through tunneling activity that creates macropores for air and water. Soil receiving weekly coffee applications for years has a loose, crumbly structure that a hand penetrates easily. Adjacent, unamended soil often requires a spade to penetrate beyond a few inches. The difference is visually obvious. The crushed eggshell combination completes the barrier with a physical mechanism that complements the chemical caffeine. Slugs move on a mucus layer. Sharp-edged particles cause the slug to retract and reverse direction. Crushed eggshells, dried and broken to small fragments, create a physical barrier when mixed with the grounds. The combination: 1 cup of coffee grounds mixed with 1/4 cup of crushed eggshells per ring application. Together, they address slug pressure effectively using free kitchen byproducts that would otherwise be discarded. The household that does not produce enough coffee grounds for complete garden coverage, a small household managing a large garden, has an additional source. Coffee grounds are available in every American city and most American towns. Coffee shops. Starbucks operated a program called Grounds for Your Garden that offered used grounds in 5-pound bags at no cost at most locations. The program ended with the 2020 disruptions and has not been formally reinstated. However, most independent shops and many Starbucks continue to offer them. The volume available from a single busy coffee shop on a single day can be substantial, approximately 60 to 80 pounds of used grounds. Most coffee shops compost their grounds or put them in trash. They are genuinely happy to have a gardener collect them. The request takes 1 phone call. The pickup takes 5 minutes. The material is free. A gardener who establishes a weekly relationship with a local shop has access to more coffee grounds than most gardens can absorb. The excess goes to compost, where it contributes nitrogen, minerals, and earthworm-attracting benefits at the compost stage. Annual cost of grounds for slug control and soil amendment, 0. Commercial slug control products for equivalent coverage, $40 to $80 per season. Commercial soil amendments, $20 to $40 per season. Total equivalent, $60 to $120 per year. Over 20 years, up to $2,400 saved. The Holmes County family's garden beds have been receiving coffee grounds for 30 years. The earthworm density is 40% higher. The slug pressure is managed at 0 cost. The soil structure is visibly superior to comparable soil without amendment. None of this required purchasing anything. It required the decision to put the coffee can on the counter instead of next to the trash. Drop in the comments what slug and snail damage you have been dealing with. Lettuce, hostas, strawberries, tell me the severity. I will tell you the exact ring application thickness for your situation. The grounds are free. The slug problem is real. The 12 minutes on Friday morning is the only investment required. The coffee can has been on the counter as long as we remember. The grounds have been going to the garden. The lettuce has been intact every Friday. It will be intact next Friday too.